Let's go to the place where your English dreams die. You are sitting in a meeting room. Or maybe it's a Zoom call with international colleagues. The big boss is there. The conversation is moving fast. A topic comes up that you know a lot about. You have a great idea. You have the perfect solution to the problem they are discussing. Inside your head, the sentence is forming. I think we should use the other vendor because their API is more stable. But before it reaches your mouth, the editor in your brain wakes up. The perfectionist. The editor whispers, wait, is it more stable or stabler? Is vendor the right professional word? Is my pronunciation of API correct? What if I stumble? What if they look at me confused? What if I look stupid? You hesitate. You start mentally rewriting the sentence to make it bulletproof. While you are doing that, Steve from marketing, who speaks terrible English but has zero shame, jumps in and says something half as smart as your idea, but he says it loudly. The conversation moves on. Your moment is gone. You sit there in silence, frustrated, angry with yourself, holding your brilliant idea inside because you were terrified of a tiny grammar imperfection. You tell yourself, I just have high standards. I'm a professional. I can't speak broken English. I'm Tom, and welcome back to English Adventure. Today, we are going to have a brutal conversation about your ego. Your high standards are a lie. That is not professionalism. That is cowardice. You are suffering from perfectionism paralysis. You have decided that if you can't be perfect, you won't be anything at all. Today, we are going to break that paralysis. This is going to be a long video, and it's going to be uncomfortable because I'm going to attack the part of you that you are desperately trying to protect, your intelligence. Part 1. The Anatomy of the Perfectionist Trap. Why do smart people struggle the most with languages? If you are an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, a high-level manager, you are used to being competent. You have spent your whole adult life being the person who knows the answers. Your identity is built on being smart and capable. When you speak English, that identity is threatened. You suddenly feel like a child. You feel stripped of your competence. You know complex concepts, but you can only express them in simple sentences. This creates massive cognitive dissonance. Your ego cannot handle the gap between who you are in your native language, smart, funny, articulate, and who you are in English, slow, simplistic, error-prone. So what does your ego do to protect itself? It shuts you down. It says, if we don't speak, nobody will know we aren't perfect. Silence is safer than stupidity. You are prioritizing looking smart over actually becoming fluent. You are operating under the school mindset. In school, a mistake was a red X. A mistake meant a bad grade. A mistake meant failure. You were trained for 15 years that accuracy is the only thing that matters. Welcome to the real world. In the real world, accuracy is secondary to impact. Nobody in that business meeting cares if you use the wrong preposition. They care if you have a solution to their problem. Steve from marketing knows this. He doesn't care about prepositions. He cares about closing the deal. That's why Steve is getting promoted and you aren't. Your perfectionism isn't a shield. It's a cage. And you have locked yourself inside it because you are terrified of what people think of you. Part 2. The Spotlight Effect Delusion. Let's talk about that fear. What are you actually afraid of? You are afraid of judgment. You imagine that when you speak, a giant spotlight turns on you. You imagine that every native speaker is a secret grammar teacher, judging your every syllable, secretly laughing at your mistakes. This is what psychologists call the spotlight effect. It is the delusional belief that people are paying way more attention to you than they actually are. Let me tell you the liberating truth. Nobody cares about your English as much as you do. Native speakers are selfish, just like you. When you are talking, they aren't analyzing your grammar structures. They are thinking about Do I understand the main point? How does this information affect me? What am I going to eat for lunch? When you make a mistake, when you say, he go, instead of, he goes, do you know what happens in their brain? Almost nothing. Their brain emits a tiny little glitch signal, autocorrects the mistake to, he goes, based on context, and moves on to the meaning of the sentence. It takes milliseconds. They don't judge your intelligence. They just process the data. The only person dwelling on that missing S for the next 3 hours is you. You are projecting your own insecurities onto other people. You are assuming they are as obsessed with grammar as you are. They aren't. They just want to communicate. Part 3. The necessity of ego death. So how do we break out of this cage? We need a radical shift in identity. We need what I call an ego death. You have to be willing to kill the identity of the smart professional temporarily to build the identity of the fluent speaker. Look at how a toddler learns to walk. They stand up, they wobble, they fall down flat on their face. Do they feel embarrassed? Do they think, oh no, everyone saw me fail, I look so unprofessional, I better just crawl forever? No. They laugh. They get back up. They fall again. They do this thousands of times. They embrace the suck. They have no ego attached to the process of learning. You have too much pride to be a toddler again. You think you are too old, too important, too educated to look foolish. And that pride is the anchor dragging you to the bottom of the ocean. If you want to be fluent, you must accept a simple bargain. You must be willing to be the idiot today so you can be the master tomorrow. If you refuse to be the idiot, if you demand to be the master on day one, you will never start the journey. You will stay silent, safe, and stagnant. You need to walk into that meeting and say to yourself, I am going to sound a bit stupid today. I'm going to make 5 grammar mistakes. I might sweat a little. And that is okay. That is the price of admission for fluency. You have to untether your self-worth from your English performance. Your intelligence is not defined by your ability to conjugate irregular verbs under pressure. Part 4. The 80% rule of communication. Now, let's get tactical. How do we apply this in the real world when the pressure is on? You need to adopt the 80% rule. Perfectionists are aiming for 100%. They want the perfect word, the perfect tense, the perfect accent. The problem is the law of diminishing returns. Getting from 0% to 80% accuracy takes some effort. Getting from 80% to 95% takes a massive amount of effort and time. In a live conversation, you do not have time for the 95%. While you are searching for the 100% perfect word, the 80% good enough word is sitting right there, waiting to be used. Let's look at an example. You want to say, 100% target. The implementation of this strategy will necessitate significant resource allocation fluctuations. Complex, academic. Your brain freezes trying to build that sentence. 80% solution. If we do this plan, we need to move many people and money around. Is the 80% version elegant? No. Is it academic? No. Does it communicate the exact same reality to the listeners? Yes. And most importantly, it gets delivered now, while the topic is relevant. The 100% version gets delivered never. An 80% okay sentence delivered with confidence is infinitely better than a 100% perfect sentence kept inside your head. Stop trying to sound like a Harvard professor. Sound like yourself, just using simpler tools. Aim for good enough, deliver it, and survive to speak another sentence. Part 5. The Controlled Failure Protocol. Okay, Tom. I get the philosophy. But my body still freezes up. How do I train myself to stop this reaction? You need exposure therapy. You need to desensitize yourself to the pain of making mistakes. You need to fail on purpose. Here is your 3-step protocol for breaking paralysis. Step 1. The Bad Grammar Challenge. For the next week, in low-stakes situations, talking to a friend, ordering coffee, an online lesson, I want you to intentionally make one grammar mistake in every conversation. Use the wrong tense. Forget an S. Use a wrong preposition. Do it on purpose. Then, watch what happens. Did the world end? Did they laugh at you? Did they call the grammar police? No. Nothing happened. They understood you and moved on. You need to prove to your subconscious brain that mistakes are not fatal. The only way to do that is to make them and survive. Step 2. The 3-second rule for meetings. When you are at a meeting and you have an idea, you have exactly 3 seconds to start speaking. 1, 2, 3, go. If you wait longer than 3 seconds, the perfectionist editor in your brain will wake up and strangle the idea. You have to outrun your own inner critic. Don't know exactly how the sentence will end. Start it anyway. I think the issue here is, and trust your brain to find the rest of the words along the way. It usually will. Step 3. Reframe the goal. Before you walk into a high-pressure situation, look in the mirror and say, my goal today is not to impress them with my English. My goal today is to connect and solve problems. Shift the focus off of you and onto them and the task. When you stop trying to be impressive, you stop being paralyzed. The final rant. Listen to me closely. This is the fork in the road. You can keep your high standards. You can keep your pristine, mistake-free silence. You can sit in the corner of the meeting room feeling intellectually superior while remaining completely irrelevant. You will be safe, perfect, and invisible. Or you can choose to be messy. You can choose to be imperfect. You can choose to be loud, sometimes wrong, sometimes grammatically terrible, but always present, always participating, always growing. Fluency is a messy business. It's mud, sweat, and awkward moments. If you don't want to get dirty, get out of the arena. Stop waiting until you are ready. You will never be ready. You will never feel 100% confident before you speak. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence is the result of action. Kill the perfectionist. Let the messy learner live. Speak up. If you are done letting your ego hold your potential hostage, hit the like button. Subscribe to English Adventure. It's time to get uncomfortable. I'm Tom. Open your mouth.